Total annihilation.
Illacast, planetary kin, red overtone dragon, make your baratary spin. In the flesh with a band of merry men, innocent civilians, Harry carry over yen. Is it the end or for pretend? I can neither condemn nor defend.
What is underground? According to Webster's dictionary, underground means in or into hiding or secret operation, which accurately describes the three artists almost perfectly. The reason why I say almost is that if it was a secret, then nobody would know about these artists. Looking at Spotify, MF Doom has over 8.2 million monthly listeners per month. Nujabes has 2.2 million listeners, and JDilla has 820,000 monthly listeners per month. While these numbers are high for MF Doom and Nujabes, they didn't start getting their fame until later on. In comparison to mainstream, we will define mainstream as a prevailing current or direction of activity or influence, which is interesting given that during their time, they did not become the current of influence. I would say the only artist out of the three that influence music now is June, aka Nujabes, is one of my favorite artists of all times. From hearing Battlecry and Shikina Uta from Samurai Champloo to Lovesick on his albums, I immediately became a fan. As the godfather of lo-fi music, Nujabes pioneered a new wave of hip-hop. Nujabes is an artist who I always listen to when studying, recording a video, or just want to get put in a good mood. Born on February 7th, 1974, a legend was born. An artist who never became mainstream but forever stayed in the underground. Now in the current year 2025, there are many Nujabes fans, however, still not to the level of a mainstream artist like Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, etc., which I believe is a good thing for a couple of reasons. Being an underground artist means you are smaller and more niche based than more popular and just in the genre of hip hop, which is a difference than being hip hop. Nujabes focused more on the jazzy hip hop approach than drums and bass. Honestly, I think that style of instrumental would be more common among regular non-hip hop enjoyers because of the jazzy feeling. Nujabes only released 2 albums, being Metaphorical Music and Model Soul. He impacted the genre of hip hop forever. There was an album released after his death called Spiritual State, which is also another great project as well. Some of his most popular songs, being Feather, Lady Brown, Lovesick, etc., are one of a kind and can never be replicated. Now someone can say, Bugs, how can you say it'll never be replicated when he created a whole genre of hip hop? A very valid question. It can never be replicated because Nujabes is the blueprint. There will be artists who are considered lo-fi artists, which I think is fantastic and wish all of them the most success, but it'll never be like the original. The underground of music, especially hip hop, I feel like they are mad scientists. Mad scientists in the sense that they can create something so incredible that has never been done before. One of the saddest things is that we would never know the impact that Nujabes would have had if he was still here today. Would he have become a mainstream producer? Would he have changed the scope of hip hop forever? Don't get me wrong, Nujabes has already impacted hip hop drastically, but would he have impacted the genre more? At the end of the day, all we can do is speculate. The image that we have of Nujabes is a positive one, and I'm hoping that it stays that way forever. JDilla, aka JD, is one of the pioneers of rap/hip hop. For the real hip hop fans, you know about JDilla because of his contribution to the world of flipping samples and instrumentals. So talented that there are certain instrumentals you cannot rap over. I consider JDilla to be a underground artist because he is not talked about in modern rap/hip hop conversation. If you ask a casual listener, hey, who are your favorite producers of all time? They'll probably say Metro Boomin, Dr. Dre, and Kanye. Not taking the credit away from those producers, but that is a very stereotypical answer when it comes to hip-hop producers. JDilla has one of the greatest catalogs and instrumentals of all time. His albums ranging from Welcome to Detroit 2 all the way to Donuts. Yes, there are many albums that were released after his death, but he only had 3 official releases. Known throughout hip-hop as one of the greatest producers of all time. There is a uniqueness to JDilla beats that has yet to be replicated. Even though JDilla never had the commercial success or fame, he is still stamped in the hip-hop/rap Hall of Fame. I know some people will probably say, oh, it's because JDilla is dead. That's why you put him in that category. Absolutely not. He has a certain magic that is timeless and is still looked at in all today. Some beats / flips that I consider to be insane, even by today's standards, will be Don't Cry, The Last Donut, So Far to Go, etc. There are so many beats that I cannot even give you a top 5, and quite frankly, his beats being so steezy, there is no incorrect top 5. Very similar to Nujabes, if you know ball, you know ball. In my opinion, it's a good thing that JDilla stayed an underground artist because it gave him more appreciation after he passed. Let me explain. As someone who was not a JDilla fan back when he was still alive, because I was 6 years old, I could never appreciate him. As I got older and started deep diving into hip hop and accidentally discovering JDilla from an MF Doom song, I was hooked. That song being, if you know how hard that instrumental goes, you simply know. JDilla's music provided a different view to creativity and what I viewed as hip hop. Seeing how a JDilla beat could completely elevate an artist is one of the coolest things. Yes, every instrumental technically elevates an artist, but as I mentioned earlier, there's a certain steez and magic that comes from a JDilla beat. Very similar in modern hip hop as an Alchemist sample. An Alchemist sample can show a completely different side to an artist or a new steez. Great example being the Life is Beautiful album featuring Larry June, The Alchemist, and 2 Chainz. This showed 2 Chainz rapping on non-trap beats, allowing the listener to see a different side to 2 Chainz rapping. Regardless, I think that the underground impact that JDilla had on the rap / hip hop industry is something that cannot be replicated or would have occurred if he was mainstream. JDilla has one of the saddest stories in hip hop, and his last album is a testament to how strong he is. JDilla had TTP, aka thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura. TTP is a blood disorder that results in blood clots forming in small blood vessels throughout the body, leading to kidney and brain dysfunction. And lupus. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissues and organs. JDilla had no chance of a long life, but that did not stop him from creating a phenomenal last album, being Donuts. He made Donuts on his deathbed, and he ended up releasing the album 3 days before he passed away. 2 of the songs on Donuts which leave a haunting feeling to me is Don't Cry and Last Donut of the Night. Don't Cry is a message to the audience saying not to cry when he passes. When the vocals in the song goes, it feels like it's wrong to be sad or cry over his death. The Last Donut of the Night is the last song that JDilla recorded according to those close to him. This is the song that was described as a song that cannot be rapped over, which to this day remains true. The beat was so fire that there isn't a single artist that has successfully rapped over the beat. The Last Donut of the Night is the final goodbye to the audience, and for those who don't know, JDilla had a love for donuts, so it was bittersweet in the end.
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of brew? There's only one beer left.
MF Doom, aka Victor Vaughn, aka King Ghidorah, is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Daniel DeMille, aka MF Doom, is a supervillain who is a killer who loves children, one who is well skilled in destruction as well as building. The MF standing for Metal Fingers or Metal Face. We see Doom take the persona of Dr. Doom and end up having a mask similar to him. For those who know MF Doom, you are deep into the underground and most importantly, no ball. MF Doom's first album, known as Operation Doomsday, was the start of supervillainy. With the hit song Doomsday, along with Rhyme Like Dimes, Hey, Gas Straws, etc., the supervillain finally made his appearance. The masked villain started taking over the underground rapidly. In 2003, releasing an album under the persona of Victor Vaughn called Vaudeville Villain, which was also very good. However, the album which I personally deem one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time is Mad Villainy. Mad Villainy is the perfect album from beginning to end. The album was produced by Madlib, which had a feature from Victor Vaughn on Fancy Clown. In my opinion, this is one of the underground albums that had such a positive reception that it would have rivaled any mainstream album that came out in 2004. If you didn't hear of Doom from Operation Doomsday, then you most certainly heard him because of Mad Villainy, with popular songs being All Caps, Great Day, Rhinestone Cowboy, Accordion, and Meat Grinder, there are so many quotables used today. Some of those quotes being,
Just remember all caps when you spell the man name. Living off borrowed time, the clock tick faster. We rock the house like rock and roll. Got more soul than a sock with a hole.
there are so many more things I can say regarding the masterpiece of Mad Villainy, but I prefer for you, the listener, to listen to the album yourself. MF Doom's revenge against the industry is what makes him so legendary in my opinion. Along with him taking the persona of Dr. Doom, just made the character 10 times cooler. There's the famous interview between MF Doom and Red Bull Music Academy, and it's inspiring to those who are a fan of Doom. The interview goes over how he evolved from Zevlov X to MF Doom, conquering writer's block, working with producers, and even how he made food. One of my favorite things regarding the interview is how he showed the human side of Doom. Doom talked about how he dealt with depression and how to maneuver through life. Doom to me is the truest version of Daniel DeMille, and it allowed him to express all the emotions he feels. At this point, MF Doom is still an underground rapper, but he is at the top of the underground. Food consisted of arguably his second or most popular song being One Beer. The intro pretty much being a drunk Doom rapping on the intro, and then we get a crazy song about one beer? I also think this contributes to the fan-made music video which featured Dr. Doom from the Marvel show. This made me want to look into who Dr. Doom is and go down a rabbit hole of Doom. Every song being named after food and Doom just doing what Doom does best, being a rapping supervillain. The next couple of albums that continue to grow the supervillain's reputation. The Mouse and the Mask being the album released right after Food is one that I consider underrated and underexplored. Same thing with the Born Like This album that came out 4 years later. Born Like This is an album that I feel is a more mature Doom. A Doom with a raspier voice and sounds more evil. Again, another underrated album that I would recommend to the viewer. So Bugs, if these are the accolades of Doom, why do you think he remained an underground rapper? My answer is that he never fucked with the hip-hop industry and he was not going to sell his soul for fame. Based on the persona of Doom, I do not think that he would have worked with any artist who was popular at the time. In the interview with Red Bull, he talks about how he never listened to rap music, which is interesting given the fact that he is such a good rapper, but is also not surprising. Even though Doom remained the king of underground rap, he inspired many artists who are mainstream now. One of those people being Tyler, the Creator, who was arguably one of the biggest artists of all time. Even Playboy Carti tweeted out RIP Doom when he passed away in 2021. In 2020, Alchemist showed a portion of a song he worked on with MF Doom, and it was incredible. For those who know, Doom is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. There will always be an underground rap scene, and I love that. To not sound like an elitist, I think there is a beauty in the underground and mainstream. I do think that the underground is a more raw and authentic version of rap, not manipulated by the politics and games of record labels and platforms. I hope this video did a good job of celebrating 3 artists who I believe are legends of the underground. Long live Nujabes, JDilla, and Doom. I will have some albums for each artist that I would recommend to first-time listeners. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoy the music. For those who are already fans of these 3 artists, we will never forget them. It's been your boy Bugsy, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later, Face Cowboy.